Hello and welcome to this tutorial. We want to have a look at the Watson API Explorer and use this API to detect some images, to detect some text in some images. The Watson API is a JavaScript API, and we want to use this API directly from an SAP Screen by using the GuiXT controls. Here we have a list of different things that we can use, the functions that are supported, and we want to use the visual recognition interface. And when we open this, then we see how we can use this, and this is mainly a request, and we use a special URL and get back to result. So we use this URL and add the URL of the image that we want to detect, and we will then print the result back to the SAP screen. So we use in this example a standard transaction and modify it to use this for our own purpose. So this is the Watson API Explorer, and what we want to do is we want to create the URL that we have to send, and in this case we just use a normal input field and two buttons, and this should be the response. And so what we do is we use another control to display or to use an HTML site. It doesn't have to be visible actually, but we could use those buttons directly. But what we do is we create a new button and click on the button inside this HTML site. So there's a special parameter that you can use to see how this button is called, and then you can just use another command to click on that button. And then what we do is we create this site and create a JavaScript function to build this URL, and we also have an object that can be used to put in text to input fields or to read input and use this in JavaScript. So we mainly have this site with two buttons, and when either the user clicks on one of the buttons or we use a script to click this button, then we call this function, build the URL, and send the request to the Watson API. And important here is to know that the request is an AJAX request. That means that we do not get the result immediately, and we cannot wait for this result. So we have to create a function, and this function is called from the API when the result is there, or an error occurred actually. And here we see that we parse the text from the response and put it into an input field. So actually this is a variable of our own input field, and we put in the result there, and after that we refresh the screen. So this is mainly the whole thing, and we can now test it. So we provide an URL and click on classify. So now the image should also be shown. So this is actually one of the examples that will be complicated. So this is classified as typography. So this makes sense. It's some text. So let's modify that so we can see the button. So we now try to detect the text. This will take some time. Here's our response. There you can see that the Watson API is not that bad at detecting text, but the second word is not recognized properly, but the rest seems to be okay. Maybe the number is also not quite correct, so maybe this is it's just an example, so this is maybe not the best case to use this, so let's use another example. Classify that. So this is also an image with some text, but it's recognized as a building, so this sounds good. Let's try to detect the text. Okay, now we have to we cannot put too many requests, because this is only the trial URL from the Watson API Explorer. You need your own key if you want to use this on a general basis. So SAP also sounds good, so this is the text inside this. And I think we have also a third example. So let's classify that. And this is a train, this is sounds also good. I think the text, detect text does not make sense in this example. Let's see what that happens there. No, it doesn't. It's not able to detect the text here. So you have to play around with the API maybe to see if it's useful or not. But the main purpose of this tutorial is to show that you can use this API with a small control side and JavaScript requests, and you can interact directly with this API on an SAP screen. Yeah, there are many other APIs on the internet, and especially in the Watson API Explorer, there are also some useful things that you can use, like document conversion, language translation, and many other things. And it's like a Google API that you can use, I think, for if you don't use it too much, then it's also not, it's for free actually, I think. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and I hope it will be useful.